Pattern community, Coach Megan here today. We are going to be doing a strength workout today, and we are going to focus on the lunge pattern and the pull pattern. We are going to have 2 movements for the lunge pattern, 2 movements for the pull pattern, and we will repeat each of those. So 4 lunge movements, 4 pull movements, totaling 8 movements. Each movement is going to be 1 minute in length. You will have 15 seconds rest between each movement for a total of 10 minutes in our workout today. Equipment that you are going to need. Minimal, if any. If you are somebody that would like a challenge and have access to weights, you can grab those and use those for some of the movements. If you don't have a set of weights, dumbbells, you can use things around the house to include weights. So something like your laundry detergent, your bottle of laundry detergent, that would work. Or if you have any cans in the pantry, you can always add those light weights. If you're not interested in any weights, don't have any, no big deal. If you do have a slider, grab that. If you don't have a slider, but you have a paper plate, grab that. I'm actually going to be using a paper plate because I don't have my sliders with me. This works perfectly just as well as the slider. If you don't have paper plates, if you don't have a slider, that's okay. You can just do the movement without that slider. I am going to demonstrate our 2 lunge movements before we get into actually starting the timer. That way, once we're ready to go, we've got 1 minute in each of our movements, and I don't have to take time to explain, and then that cuts down on the actual time that we're doing the exercise. So we're going to be doing 2 lunge movements. The first one is a stationary lunge, meaning we are not really going to be moving or walking too much, because we want you to get the basic pattern of a lunge. Make sure you're moving the right body parts, make sure you're squeezing the right body parts, make sure that all of your hips, your knees, they're all in line where they need to be. Then we will progress to moving, doing a reverse lunge with our slider. So the first movement that you are going to do is a stationary lunge. And the way we are going to start or get into that movement is I'm just going to keep my left foot forward, take my right foot, and bring it down to the ground. So my knee is touching the ground. Then what I want to do is kind of look at the placement of all of my body parts. So I want my hips and my knees to be in line with my ankle. So when I look down, my knee should be sort of directly over my foot, in line with my foot. It shouldn't be too far forward. It shouldn't be in front of my foot. It shouldn't be back here behind. It should be sort of a 90-degree angle. My back leg, I want to be back up on my toe. So my heel's up in the air. I'm going to be putting pressure on my toes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to step up and I'm going to squeeze my glutes, my quads. I'm going to feel this in both my front and my back leg. And then I'm just going to go back down, back up, back down, back up. As far as tempo goes, we want to do a 2-1-2 tempo. So meaning I'm taking 2 seconds to go down, holding for a second, 2 seconds to come up. 1, 2, hold, 1, 2. 1, 2, hold, 1, 2. So that is our stationary lunge. We are going to stay on the same leg for 1 minute, and then we will switch to the second leg or the opposite leg that second time. Okay, so that's our first lunge movement. Our second lunge movement is where we're going to need our slider or our paper plate. So we are going to do a slider reverse lunge. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put the slider under one of my feet. So I'm going to use my left foot for this one. And basically, all I'm going to do is slide the leg that has the paper plate or the slider back into a reverse lunge. And again, I want to make sure that my right knee or my front knee is directly over that foot. It's not too far forward, it's not too far back, directly over. And then I'm going to pull back. Again, squeezing my glutes, squeezing my quads. Go back down, slide forward. Slide back, slide forward. And again, we're going to stay on the same leg for 1 minute, and then we'll switch. If I don't have the paper plate, I'm just focusing on reverse lunge. Down, squeeze, down, squeeze. Okay, so those are our 2 lunge movements. Now that we know what they are, we are going to get into the actual workout. Okay, so we're going to do our stationary lunge, one leg for a minute, then we're going to switch to the other leg for a minute, then we're going to go to our slider lunges, reverse lunges, one leg for a minute, switch to the other leg for a minute. That will give us 4 minutes of lunge movement, and then we'll be ready to move to our pull movements. Okay, so you are going to get your self ready, get your water, get your watch, get your timer, and then we are going to begin. So there's a 10-second warm-up, and then we're going to get directly into our stationary lunge. Okay, so I'm going to start with my left foot forward and my right foot back. Here we go. So you're going to bring your right foot down, back up, squeeze, down, squeeze. Remember, we're doing the 2, 1, 2 tempo. Make sure you're inhaling and exhaling. You want to make sure you're breathing. 30 seconds. You should feel this in both your front and your back leg. 2 seconds down, 1 second at the bottom, 2 seconds up. You should be feeling this. 10 seconds left. Shake it out. Then we're going to switch legs. 7, 6, 5, 3, 1. Okay, 15 seconds. Shake it out. My right foot is now going to be forward. My back foot, or my left foot, is going to be down. And I'm going to pop up. Squeeze, down, squeeze. 2 seconds down, 1 second, hold, 2 seconds up. Making sure you're breathing. "35 seconds. Whew, feeling this one. Definitely in my leg that is back. 25 seconds. Push all the way. On these strength days, remember, we're worried about squeezing the right muscles, getting in repetitions. 10 seconds. Try to get 2 more in. 3, 2, 1. Whew, shake out those legs. Grab your slider. Grab your paper plate. I'm going to start the paper plate on my left leg. Doesn't matter to me which one you use, as long as you remember. Okay, here we go. Slide back, pull forward. Slide back, pull forward. So this is one. If you would like to add a weight, you can. Right? I've got my weight here. Just kind of helps actually keep me stable. 30 seconds. Make sure again you're squeezing as you're coming up. This weight is 8 pounds, so it's not super heavy, but it gives me something extra to hold on to. Helps me with my balance. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, 15 seconds rest. Switching to my opposite foot. 5 seconds rest. Here we go. Slide back, forward. And if you are not using a paper plate, if you don't have one, you don't have a slider, then you're just practicing your reverse lunge. Again, making sure you're squeezing your glutes, squeezing your quads as you come up. I'm gonna get my slider back. We have 30 seconds left. After this, we're gonna move to our pull movements. 15 seconds left. Push all the way. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. Those were our lunge movements. Now we are going to move to our pull movements. Okay, so we are ready to start our pull movements. Just like with the lunge movements, we will have 2 different movements that we will repeat. Each movement will be 1 minute in length, 15 seconds rest. If you have light dumbbells and you want to use those, you'll be able to use those for one of the movements. If you don't have the dumbbells, something like a can of food or even like a water bottle filled with water can be used. We're going to do a little bit of rowing. So something big like the laundry detergent wouldn't work for this movement. We are going to do a seated prone reverse fly and a bear crawl row. I'm going to show you both of the movements first so you know exactly what we are doing. Then we will get into each of the movements. Both of these movements will be on the ground, and then we will be done for today, unless you choose to repeat this, which we encourage if you have the time. Okay, so the first movement is going to be a prone reverse fly movement. So I'm going to be laying down on the ground, just like this, facing down. I want my head and my neck slightly off the ground, and my arms are going to be flat out. My pinkies are going to be facing down towards the ground. I am then going to lift my arms up off of the ground till I can feel and squeeze my shoulder blades. Once I do that, I'm going to bring them back down, and I'm going to repeat. Squeeze, down. So just like with our lunge movement, you're going to bring 2 up, squeeze for 1 second, bring back down. Up for 2 seconds, squeeze for 1, bring back down. Okay, so we'll do that for a minute. Then we are going to move to what is called a bear crawl row. Okay, so for this, I'm sure we've all done a bear crawl before. You're going to be on all fours. You want your hands to be a little bit narrower than shoulder width apart. You want your knees to be shoulder width apart. And then you are going to sort of hover. So come off the ground a few inches, and then you are going to row back. You might have heard my shoulder pop. Okay, again, you're going to squeeze your shoulders. You want your back to be flat as possible on this movement, If this is too challenging, which this is a very challenging movement, and you're finding that getting your knees off the ground is too hard, then you're going to keep your knees on the ground and just practice the squeezing of the shoulders. If you want to add challenge, but hovering is still too hard, you would grab, this is where you would grab a weight, and again, row back, squeeze shoulder blades, come back down. If you only have one dumbbell, then you would switch back and forth. If you have 2 dumbbells, even better. Squeeze, bring it back down, squeeze, bring it back down. Okay, so that is our bear crawl. That is our bear crawl row. Let's get started. We are going to start with our prone reverse flies. We will then go to the bear crawl, go back to the reverse fly, and then go back to the bear crawl. These ones are a lot to do 2 in a row. The lunges, we were switching legs, so it was a little bit easier to continue on the same movement. These ones, we're going to be switching back and forth. So we'll start with the prone reverse flies, go to the seated or the bear crawl rows, and then repeat. Okay, so I'm going to get my timer, set back up, move it over here. Okay, we're going to start with that 15-second rest. I'm going to get down on my hands, put them out, and here we go. So remember, my head is lifted slightly off the ground, my pinkies are down, and I'm going to squeeze my shoulders, come back down. Squeeze my shoulders, come back down. Make sure you are breathing. That is important. Inhale, exhale. You should know when you're engaging your shoulders. You should feel that squeeze. That's when you stop moving your arms up. Squeeze, come back down. Got about 10 seconds left. Should be able to get one more in. Okay, 15 seconds rest. We are going to go to our bear crawl rows. So again, if you want to use your weights, you have those close to you. Move this one out of the way. So you're going to hover, if you can, off of the ground, row back. This is the most challenging. If that's too hard, you get rid of the weights. You just hover, bringing your arms back, making sure you're squeezing. If that's too hard, you're down on your knees, and you're bringing your arms back, and you're squeezing. 25 seconds. Whatever works for you. Ten seconds. And then we're going to go back to the reverse flies. 2, 1, 15 seconds rest. Back to our reverse flies. You're down, your arms are out. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And arms up. Squeeze your shoulders. Bring it back down. Squeeze your shoulders. Bring it back down. Should be feeling this in your back, in your shoulders. Make sure you're breathing. 20 seconds. Eight, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm not a good counter. All right. Last movement. We're back to our bear crawl rows. Okay, so here, you're doing whatever works for you. You're either on your knees, bringing your arms back into a row. That's too easy. You add some weights if you have them. Still on your knees. If that's still too easy, then you get rid of those weights. You put your arms back down on the ground, you hover, and then you pull back. Remember to breathe. 30 seconds left. Ten seconds. 3, 2, 1. All right. All right, Fit Pattern community, you did it. You finished another strength workout. That one was a challenge today. We had lunge, we had pull. None of those movements were easy, so you did an awesome job. If this is all the time you have for today, way to go. You made it through one circuit. If you have some more time, we encourage you to play this video again. Get even more benefit from this awesome workout. No matter if you're doing this video again or this is all the time you have, you all did a wonderful job. We cannot wait to see you next time. Have a wonderful day.